A good sandwich isn't about one ingredient doing the heavy lifting. It's what happens when the pieces come together just right. Walk with me. I was out to lunch recently. Normally, I'm the kind of guy that gets pizza, burgers, pastas. But after looking at the menu, I spotted a focaccia sandwich and I figured, you know what? Let's be a little bit different today. Now, I will admit, they did take a little bit long bringing out the sandwich, which was fine. I can be a patient person, but after a while, I was like, man, I just want to eat my damn sandwich. Let me tell you, that sandwich was worth the wait and it blew away my expectations. The chicken breast was seasoned perfectly. It wasn't too light or too heavy on the seasonings. The arugula and the tomatoes complemented it perfectly. And it had bacon, so anything with bacon is automatically better. I'm not entirely sure what this chicken was seasoned with, but I can tell it was herb forward. So of course, we're starting with the salt. Imagine having salt and no pepper. It's just not allowed. Follow that up with some oregano. This might seem a little random, but I feel like Lovage fits this blend really well. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe my counter now because you already know I had to season it a little bit. Now, if you're wondering why we're not using basil or rosemary, it would overpower the sandwich. I already said not one thing dominated the sandwich, so why have it be the chicken? The chicken will play its part. I also forgot to mention that it's gonna get a little bit of oil. The oil helps the seasoning adhere to the chicken. Plus, we don't need to add more to the pan later. I don't know about you, but this looks like really nice chicken. I don't care if it's raw, it still looks nice. So instead of cooking the chicken right away, we're going to set it aside for a quick marinade. We're going to get to this bacon. Now, the bacon on the sandwich was pretty thick, and I figured instead of looking for thick cut bacon, I'll just buy a chunk of pork belly and do it myself. You can use whatever kind of bacon you want. I'm just doing it my way. Man, this is a really dull knife. Or maybe I was just cutting from the wrong side. These things happen. Cutting with dull knives is not very fun. What the hell is happening here right now? It took 5 minutes, but I got my first piece. Let's hope I'm not here the rest of the night trying to cut the rest. I'm just gonna let you know, buy thick cut bacon. Don't be adventurous like me and try to do it yourself. My thumb hurts and I've only cut 2 pieces of bacon. Here's my bacon. Like I said, just buy the bacon yourself. And if you're gonna do it yourself, please don't use a dull knife. After getting your pan nice and hot, go in with the bacon. And once it goes in the pan, don't touch it until it's ready to be flipped. Now, when that bacon is all crackly and has a nice color, go ahead and give it a little bit of a flip. That is some pretty bacon if I've ever seen any. I don't know about you, but I can't think of many better smells than some bacon frying up. Oh, that's hot. Ow. Ouch. Ow, ow, ow. That did not feel nice. Now that our bacon is done and we're left with this beautiful rendered bacon fat, I can't think of a better way to compound some flavor than putting the chicken right in the pan. The smell of the herbs hits you as soon as it hits the pan. If these smells don't make you hungry, then you should probably get checked out. I'm joking. Not really. Similarly with the pork belly, you're not going to touch this chicken until the bottom side is nicely browned and looks beautiful. As a quick side note, I removed this part of the pork belly because it would make it chewy and the experience less enjoyable. If your pork belly happens to have that, cut it off. A couple minutes have elapsed and it's time to flip the chicken. Let us see if it's nicely browned. Now you see, that's what I'm talking about. You don't flip your chicken until it looks like this. What I love about this is we're cooking it in the same pan that the bacon did. So on top of the seasonings we already added to it, we're just going to infuse it with that amazing pork flavor. Right, with our chicken out of the way, let's talk about this focaccia. For some reason, finding focaccia in my area was almost impossible. So what I settled for was something like this. The sandwich I had was plain focaccia. I wanted plain focaccia, but instead, we got the stepsister that nobody wanted. I am going to now shamelessly plug that I have a focaccia playlist. Now they are shorts. I'll link in the description if you're interested. Now if you're interested in seeing a longer version of that series, comment below and let me know. Now on the sandwich I had, I don't think they toasted the bread, but they are not me, so I'm toasting my focaccia. You're also toasting your focaccia because I said so. Now some of you may think I'm crazy, but I'm putting the focaccia in the same pan I just cooked all of this meat in. I did dump out some of the oil, don't worry, but at the end of the day, this is just going to add more flavor. Now it might not look like a lot, but trust me, these little extra steps do carry a lot of weight. Now before we get to assembly, we have to work on our last component, which is the tomatoes. Generally, I don't like tomatoes on my sandwich. I'm making an exception here today because everything just works so well together. I feel like it would be a crime if I skipped it. I think it's high time that we built this sandwich. Obviously, you start with your bottom half. This sandwich had mayo and mustard on it, so on the bottom half, I'm gonna go with some mustard. For a very long time, I didn't care for mustard very much. But as I've grown older and wise, I can tolerate it. It's also worth noting that I'm putting mustard on the bottom because I feel like mayo deserves the top bun. You gotta be kidding me, man. Why? Why would that happen? Just gonna go ahead and get that out your way, pretend you don't see anything. I will mention that no matter what form of lubrication you use for your sandwiches, always be generous. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody likes a dry ass sandwich. I think the sandwich that I had at the restaurant used lettuce and not arugula. Arugula tastes better, so I'm gonna use arugula. Now, because I always have to do the most, I am gonna lightly season this arugula with some salt and a light dusting of pepper. Of course, I got some on the plate because it's me. Now just decorate it with some tomato. 3 is all I need. I'm not crazy about tomato like that, as you know. Now, I was debating if I should put the bacon on top or on the bottom. I'm just gonna go across the bottom. Looking at this now, this would make a killer BLT. And selectively lay pieces of chicken across the top. And of course, the top bun that we've generously layered with some mayonnaise. Here's the proof. Squeeze it shut. We want everything to stay in place. Now here's how it looks on the outside, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half and give you that nice little cross section. Now tell me that ain't a pretty sandwich.